Hello, George. Daphne here. Thank you for your message and hello to you in Colombia. It's nice to know where you are. I'm in the UK. I am living now in Brighton, down on the south coast. I used to live in Wiltshire, in the countryside. So now I'm by the sea, which is rather lovely, actually. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do the task 2 first. I have replied to you on the email about speaking. I really think we can help you because we're doing a lot of work now with speaking. A lot of people are asking for speaking feedback. So I've given you some details on how we do that. We do a specific part 2, part 3 focus with a tutorial each time, like a point to work on, a particular technical issue to work on each time, and we feedback this kind of feedback like this, so audio feedback on yours, so we listen to yours and I comment at the same time. So it's really specific and really helpful. We've also done some mock speaking tests with students as well, just to give them that face-to-face experience, and that's worked very well. They've been really happy and got great scores, so that's the most important thing. Okay, so here we go. Task 2 first. Always in your exam, write task 2 first, okay? It has more marks, I'm sure you know that, and it obviously will take you longer. So do this one first. So nowadays, computer education is compulsory for young learners in most schools. Do you think this is necessary? Or will children acquire these skills naturally from their daily interaction? Interesting question. Governors, teachers, and even parents have debated during the last couple of decades the obligation to teach computer subjects since an early age at educational centres. Okay, a little bit complicated this. I would take out this. I don't think you need that, and it's really not even 20 years, is it? It's probably less than that. And even parents, maybe you could say have begun to debate or have started to debate or have become increasingly concerned, something like that. So let's go have started to debate the obligation to teach computer science subjects at school. And I would stop there because it's quite a long sentence and it's quite complicated, so I don't think you need this. And I know you've got educational centres, so all right, let's see you're paraphrasing. Let's computer subjects. Let's go as part of the education curriculum. Why don't we do it that way? I've started to debate the obligation to teach computer subjects as part of the school curriculum. Okay? Obligation is an interesting choice of word. Obligation comes from outside. Yeah? So the government will oblige somebody to do something. Be careful because I think it's a mistranslation. I think from Spanish, there's a slightly different meaning. It's whether you have to. Obligation in the UK is strong. Although the technological gap between developed and developing countries is considerable, in both scenarios there's an everyday increasing relevance for teaching IT since childhood. No, from childhood. From childhood. And I think you are okay in this essay to say IT skills, because we do use it like that. Yeah, and you've said information technology before, but this is important, this preposition from childhood. Beginning of a point in time. Personally, I'm considered a priority in the curriculum of any school, beginning from an early age in learner's life, and this, because you're referring back to the learning, should not be only an autodidactic learning. Okay, this essay presents arguments. Very nice. I'm just going to pause us there. Discusses points and gives examples. Very nice. Wow. Okay. Right, you've used curriculum, education, maybe you could use system. Instead, because you've got curriculum down here, but that's a lovely start. Well done, very good. Firstly, nowadays, you need to cover comma with nowadays. Society is based on computer technology and will not neglect. Let's turn this round into a passive, and the importance of basic knowledge in this field from a young age should not be neglected. You should not word different verbs. Should not be neglected. So here you've got a passive modal, which is quite nice in here. Should not be neglected. So take out that. So put your subject first, and the importance of basic knowledge in this field. Maybe instead of since, because we know that's wrong from up here. So let's go even at a young age. So you're emphasizing this. Even at a young age should not be neglected. Okay. Thereby, it's necessary for schools. Necessary that. No. All right, you can have that. Necessary that schools prepare, or necessary for schools to prepare young students to live in an everyday, more technological and connected world. And an everyday let's go an evermore, not everyday more. Let's go an evermore. And then that will be one word. An ever more technological and connected world. Lovely, good. Now, it's based on technology. Just expand this from work. So you should expand this. Society is based on computer technology. From work, socializing, from work to socializing and shopping. So you need to tell me what you can do on the computer technology. Otherwise, it's a little bit up in the air. I need a few specifics here. So from work to socializing and shopping, and the importance is necessary. Okay, so you're showing me how society is based on it. So then you're into your example. A 2-year study showed that children who were exposed to social networks in the country without compulsory computer teaching presented 3 times more likelihood to suffer depression and as a basic knowledge tended to manage depression. Really lovely example. Very, very good. Presented children who were exposed presented 3 times more likelihood to suffer from. Suffer from something, that preposition there is important. Suffer from depression. That's a fantastic example. The advantage to educate children as an obligation from a young age. Excellent. From a young stage. Okay, young stage or young age is more natural. Okay. But that's a very, very neat paragraph. Lovely writing today, George. Really good. This is very intense. You can see me really concentrating. But you're building your argument, and that's what's working so well. Okay, the coherence is fantastic. You're answering the question really nicely. This is great. Okay, so be careful here. Yeah, because when we go back to this question, will they learn it in school or will they acquire it naturally? So you do need to address this part of the question. Here you've said, yes, it's a priority, but at some point, remember, just look at the kind of shape of the question. You should make sure you do talk about this at some point. So secondly, jobs at the marketplace every year are demanding more computer knowledge from workers. Just prepositions a little bit. From workers, even for non-skilled positions. And due to this, schools should include in their curriculums. I don't think you need to repeat that because you've made the point very well. So should include computer education as a requirement. I don't think you need that either. Sort of a bit repetition from all this in order to prepare children. Well, we're not talking about children. Let's get this into workers. In order to prepare students. So you're kind of building, you've dealt with children, now you're going into the workplace, students for highly skilled professions. So move the story on. Put that in there. So recent publication forecasted that in a period of 20 years, almost 70% of the workplaces, you don't need the, just because it's general here, of workplaces would rely on IT, the 30% would demand. Now, in now this, because it's kind of, you've translated it, and it, well, not translated it, but how it sounds in Spanish is different, okay? Would demand computer skills from the majority of their employees. Would demand as a basic. Consequently, it should be obligatory. Now, in every, maybe here you could put college rather than school, so move it forward. The only thing I'm worried about here is that you haven't addressed this part of the question. So you would score very highly in this, but you would lose marks because is it necessary or will they get it elsewhere? So you've given me your opinion and you've argued this, yes, it's necessary, but you must talk about this. So at some point here, you could put, secondly, and you use a concession, although there is no doubt that for exposure, children naturally acquire technological, well, sorry, technological skills and competency through content exposure and experimentation. Children naturally acquire skills and competency. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this kind of concession, and you could almost make this a bit longer. I've just done a short one, but I think you do need this, okay? Otherwise, you're not fully answering the question. So yes, they'll acquire it naturally, but they also need to be taught it at school. That's really what your argument is saying. But that's a very, very good essay. Well done, you. Super work. Let's go up to the task 1. Okay. How long is this taking you? How are you doing on timing? Because I imagine you're getting quite close to your exam, and timing is often an issue. And this is long, okay? Definitely 170. Is this absolutely fine? Oh, sorry. And 170 max is what I wanted to put. Okay, don't waste your time on this because this has 30% of the marks and the other one has 70%. So it's better to spend your time on this one. Okay? Yep, you can still read that now. I've just changed the page. Okay, so here we go. We've got a comparison between a graph, a line graph, and a pie chart. This is going to have the verbs of dynamic, changing over time, and this one is static. So the graphs correspond to a line. Okay, correspond to, represent, or graph show, a line chart and a pie chart. We would say a line, all right, yeah, a line diagram or whatever, all the diagrams and a line graph. The former presents total member income. Meanwhile, the latter, or I don't really like the last one, the latter, it's a bit confusing. The pie chart shows global market share. Both cases, yeah, good, nice intro there. Now, overall, now, for me, probably said this before, I like this up here. It's more natural. It's like the introduction. It doesn't matter. It's totally to do with what you're happy with and your style, but I'm going to put it here. Overall, during the period, member income, the special trade zone represents a growth of almost 55,000. Now you need to put commas in here like this until reaching growth of almost 5,000. So you mean total growth? So I think you need to be a little bit more specific here. Oh, a growth of, okay. Reaching, now, you put the comma in the wrong place there. Okay. at the end of the period, and I would say before reaching, right, rather than until. At the end of the period, during the year 2000, the majority of exports were in 7 markets, while and at the lowest. Very nice, good, well done. First period, there was no change in income. No change in the income. A similar behaviour was shown during the period. Okay. Okay. For the remaining years, the tendency was towards increasing, with the exception of, yeah, when. So, in which, I would just use when. I think it's easier for time. Or during which period, during which would also be okay. Income slightly dipped. At the beginning, income was nearly 25. However, by the end, the amount skyrocketed. Okay. I don't like skyrocketed. It's the kind of verb people learn for Ielts, but we just do not use it in English. So I would go with something like rose significantly. Almost. This is might not sound as dramatic, but it's right. You're showing a past tense, and you've got this nice word significantly. Okay, almost 175. Majority of income growth. So that's nice on the chart. Well done. The majority of income growth was achieved during years with a starting point. Now, so you need to tell me that we're now on exports. Okay, so this is the so hang on a minute. So if I really want one paragraph, sorry, I'm getting confused here because if this is, yeah, if this is all your bar chart, the graph, it all needs to stick together. Then you need to have a bit on exports. But for me, don't waste your time on this. You've already talked to me very nicely about the bar chart, but you do need to say more about the exports now. Highest exports from the figures right 9. So watch that gap. What's that bit there? 9. And then correct that respectively. Okay. Other markets, yeah, okay, but you need more on here. So you need to group. Okay, so group and compare. Group them together. So exports in these two countries were these two were the highest. Okay, followed by this one, closely followed by this one. Income of these 4. Yeah, you could group these 4 together. Had income levels between 56 and 46, or in range of 10,000, which was X times more than these. So you need to do a little bit more work on that pie chart. Make sure the information you get balances. So I would do, this is okay, right, so in 7 markets. So yeah, that's a good overview. I go less on this one and I do more on this one. And with these ones, just think about group and compare. If you group the information, then it's so much easier. Right, sorry, this is super long. You're going to be asleep. Thank you very much, George. Well done.